वेलकम बैक एवरीवन। आज हम बात कर रहे हैं एक फिल्म के बारे में जो सीरीज में सबसे ज्यादा ओवरलुक्ड है, हैरी पॉटर और द चेंबर ऑफ सीक्रेट्स। अब सुना होगा ना कि ये मूवी ठंडी थी या बोरिंग कंपेयर टू द फर्स्ट और थर्ड इंस्टॉलमेंट्स। गलत। एक्चुअली यह दूसरा फिल्म एक मास्टर क्लास है सटल स्टोरी टेलिंग, विजुअल डायरेक्शन और कैरेक्टर साइकोलॉजी का। इस एपिसोड में हम देखेंगे क्यों चेंबर ऑफ सीक्रेट्स एक्चुअली द मोस्ट क्रूशियल बिल्डिंग ब्लॉक था एंटायर सीरीज के लिए। क्यों टॉम रिडल वो कैरेक्टर था जो वोल्डेमॉर्ट के फ्यूचर को डिफाइन किया, और क्यों ये फिल्म सिनेमैटिकली और नैरेटिवली अंडररेटेड मास्टरपीस है। तो लेट्स ब्रेक इट डाउन प्रोफेशनली, thoroughly, or with actual substance. चलिए। The film opens with Harry's muggle home, a stark contrast to the magical world. But then Dobby appears, and here's where Chris Columbus makes a genius filmmaking choice. Dobby isn't just comic relief. He's the thematic engine of the entire film. Think about it. एक creature जो self punishment कर रहा है, जो desperate है हैरी को हॉगवर्ट्स से रोकने के लिए। क्यों? क्योंकि कुछ डार्क है चैम्बर में। अब नैरेटिव पर्सपेक्टिव से डॉबी प्लेज मल्टीपल रोल्स। फर्स्ट, ही इज एक्सपोजिशन, लेकिन सटल एक्सपोजर। ऑडियंस को ग्रेजुअली इन्फॉर्म हो रहा है, सस्पेंस बिल्ड हो रहा है। सेकंड, डॉबीज कैरेक्टर आर्क डायरेक्टली पैरेलल्स द फिल्म्स सेंट्रल थीम। ये हाउस एल्फ जो सिस्टम के अंदर ट्रैप्ड है, जो अपने मास्टर के कंट्रोल में है, वो इवेंचुअली हीरो बन जाता है। दैट्स नॉट एक्सीडेंट, दैट्स इंटेंशनल राइटिंग। Third, Dobby introduces us to the darker side of the wizarding world. Elf slavery, magical oppression, systems of control. ये सब डम्बलडोर्स परफेक्ट वर्ल्ड के बिहाइंड एग्जिस्ट करता है। चेंबर ऑफ सीक्रेट्स सिर्फ स्टूडेंट के लिए मिस्ट्री नहीं है, ये गवर्नेंस के लिए भी क्राइसिस है। और टेक्निकली डोबी का एक्टिंग, जॉन विलियम्स का स्कोर, कैमरा एंगल्स सब डेलिबरेटली ईरी बनाया गया था। एनॉइंग नहीं, अनसेटलिंग। दैट्स द पॉइंट। हॉगवर्ट्स में एंट्री और ये जो ब्लजर का अटैक था क्विडिच में, फ्लाइंग कार सीन, ये सब डिलिबरेट मिसडायरेक्शन था। कोलंबस नैरेटिव लेवल पर एक मिस्ट्री स्ट्रक्चर बिल्ड कर रहा था। 3 सस्पेक्ट्स इमीडिएटली इमर्ज। ड्रेको मैलफॉय, एरोगेंट, प्योरली evil in appearance. You'll be next, Mudblood. Severus Snape, sinister, shadowy, literally researching dark magic. Rubius Hagrid, expelled student, mysterious, powerful. Audience को guess करना पड़ता था. Who opened the chamber? But here's the brilliance. Every red herring had purpose. Draco's hatred establishes Slytherin ideology. Snape's research later seasons में payoff आता है. Hagrid's guilt sets up his character trauma. और ये attacks, Muggleborns being petrified, इसका visual metaphor भी powerful था. Frozen, helpless, unable to speak. It's a visual representation of oppression itself. The pacing, masterful. Each attack escalates stakes. First Filch's cat, then students. Paranoia spreads. Distrust spreads. और फिल्म का visual tone literally darkens. Lighting ज़्यादा shadowy हो जाता है. Colors muted हो जाते हैं. That's not accident.
Now, the chamber itself, और ये जो mythology है behind it, it's foundational to understanding Voldemort's character. Salazar Slytherin left a monster. 50 years later, Tom Riddle unleashed it. But here's what's critical. Tom Riddle isn't just a plot device. He's Proto-Voldemort. He's the beginning of something monstrous. Columbus' key direction of the Tom Riddle scenes, cinematically brilliant, black and white aesthetic, unsettling camera angles, eerie sound design. Memory जैसे feel आता है, not quite real but present. और ये जो concept है कि Tom Riddle एक memory है, a fragment of consciousness preserved in a diary. That's Horcrux concept without the terminology, a piece of soul. An immortal anchor. Narrative weight के साथ समझो. Tom asks Ginny, "Why do you suppose we're both called heir of Slytherin?" He's gaslighting her, manipulating her identity. क्योंकि Tom Riddle understand करता था. Identity control equals absolute power. This is character psychology at its finest. Tom isn't acting evil. He's being evil. He's extracting Ginny's life force, her essence, and in the process, he's becoming more real, more powerful. That's not just plot. That's existential horror wrapped in a young audience-friendly package. Or the revelation, Tom Riddle equals Voldemort equals heir of Slytherin. That's threefold narrative payoff simultaneously. The basilisk scene, cinematically and thematically, it's the film's climactic statement. Yeh creature design itself remarkable tha. Scales, venom, movement, it feels primal, ancient, unstoppable. और ये कंसेप्ट की बेसिलिस्क के डायरेक्ट आई कांटेक्ट बराबर डेथ. Indirect petrification. That's layered constraint on the action sequence. पर ये बात important है. Harry literally unprepared था for this confrontation. एक 12-year-old versus a 1,000-year-old Serpent King. Why does this work narratively? Because it establishes Harry's character archetype. He doesn't run from danger. He confronts it, even when outmatched, even when terrified. That's his defining trait across all 7 films. But it's established here, in the second movie. Fawkes blinds the basilisk. That's tactical. But Harry still gets poisoned. Venom coursing through his arm. He's dying. And that moment? That's the first time Harry truly faces mortality. Not risk of death. Actual death approaching. The film doesn't shy away from it. Dumbledore's Phoenix Fawkes brings tears. Tears of Phoenix have healing properties. Literally healing Harry from death poison. That's not just action sequence. That's thematic statement. Here's where Chamber of Secrets transcends children's fantasy and becomes philosophically complex. Tom Riddle isn't controlling Ginny via magic spell. He's parasitically consuming her life force through the diary. She's literally being erased as he becomes more real. The philosophical implications. Identity. Is Ginny still Ginny if her memories, her consciousness, her essence are being replaced by Tom's? Memory. If a memory can grow stronger, gain consciousness, and act independently, what's the difference between a memory and a soul fragment? Power. Tom's ability to possess through emotional manipulation, nobody ever listens to me, shows that magical power isn't just spell-based, it's psychological. ये फिल्म ऑडियंसेस को एडवांस concepts present कर रही था. Not explicitly, subtly, through character behavior and visual storytelling. Columbus maintained किया tone को, not too dark, not too whimsical. Just unsettling enough that young viewers felt something wrong, without understanding exactly what. That's sophisticated filmmaking for a children's movie. The film's structural brilliance reveals itself in the climax. Dobby, introduced as an obstacle, a nuisance, a warning, becomes the hero. He destroys the diary Horcrux. He stops Tom Riddle's resurrection. He saves Harry's life again. But more importantly, Dobby represents agency within oppression. Yeah, house elf. Bound by magical slavery to the Malfoy family, exercises free will. Against his master's interests, for moral principle. Lucius Malfoy, forced to free Dobby as consequence, doesn't realize he's been weaponized by his own cruelty. Dobby's self-punishment, his forced loyalty, his desperation to protect, it all culminates in an act of defiance. Narrative callback. Remember Dobby's opening warning? You mustn't go back to Hogwarts. He was trying to prevent this exact scenario, not out of malice, but out of protective concern. Character arc achieved. Dobby begins as nuisance, ends as savior. not through gaining power or skill, through moral clarity and sacrifice. And that's the thematic core of Chamber of Secrets. Power doesn't make you heroic. Choice does. Tom Riddle had power. He was still monstrous. Dobby had nothing. He was heroic. Breaking down the film's construction. 1. Misdirection as storytelling. Snape's suspicious demeanor, Hagrid's revealed secret, Draco's hatred. Each was deliberately designed to mislead. Not cheap tricks. Clues pointing toward a larger truth. That's mystery writing craft. 2. Visual language. Columbus established a grammar. Lighting darkens as mystery deepens. Music cues, psychological tension, creature design, Basilisk, Dobby, communicates character immediately. Cinematically literate. 3. Character underutilization. Intentional. Ginny Weasley appears sparingly before possession reveal. That's not neglect. That's deliberate narrative choice. She's a pawn, not a player. When she's possessed, we understand she's been vulnerable all along. Dumbledore limited screen time makes sense narratively. Students discover mystery. Authority figures react. It's perspective control. 4. Thematic coherence. Every character arc. Harry's first brush with mortality, Ron's jealousy-driven conflict, Hermione's isolation, being Muggle-born during prejudice times, Dobby's agency, all threads converge on one theme. What defines you? Your power, your origins, or your choices? That's not accident. That's architecture. The fan consensus typically ranks Chamber of Secrets last or second last in the franchise. That assessment is incomplete. Why it deserves re-evaluation. Thematic foundation. This film introduces Horcruxes implicitly, establishes Voldemort's psychology, and sets up the central tension of the entire series. Every film after builds on what this foundation established. Visual maturity. Columbus transitions from Philosopher's Stone's whimsy to something darker. Lighting, production design, cinematography, all signal tonal shift. Not jarring, gradual, professional. Character psychology. Tom Riddle's scenes are genuinely unsettling. Dobby's desperation is real. Ginny's vulnerability is tragic. These aren't stock characters. They're psychologically complex. Narrative efficiency. 155 minutes of screen time and no scene feels wasted. Mystery builds, stakes escalate, payoff lands. That's screenwriting discipline, accessibility plus depth. Film works as adventure for kids, mystery for teens, psychology thriller for adults. That's not easy. That's mastery. The slow pacing detractors mention, that's actually atmospheric building. Paranoia takes time. Trust erosion takes time. Chamber of Secrets is the bridge between wonder and darkness. And that bridge is structurally essential. Chamber of Secrets isn't just the second film in a franchise. It's a turning point, where wonder becomes complexity, where themes become mature, where a children's film reveals psychological depth. Tom Riddle's manipulation of Ginny introduces us to Voldemort as not just powerful, but dangerously intelligent. Dobby's arc shows us heroism comes from choice, not power. Harry's brush with death establishes his fearlessness. And the Basilisk Confrontation? That's Harry's first true test. Cinematically, Columbus delivered visual sophistication. Narratively, Rowling established thematic architecture for 5 more films. This is the film that made Harry Potter not just magical, but consequential. Key takeaways. Tom Riddle equals Proto-Voldemort, equals first Horcrux. Introduction Dobby's agency within oppression equals moral heroism. Harry's first mortality encounter equals character definition. Thematic core equals choices over power, morality over ability. If you're reconsidering Chamber of Secrets, that's the point of this analysis. Not to argue it's better, but to establish it's far more sophisticated than reputation suggests. Thanks for diving deep into this with us. Comment below. What's your take on Chamber? Is it criminally underrated, or do you stand by the consensus? Until next analysis.